Welcome to today's episode of Odd Pairing. I'm Paige with my co-host Natasha.
Here I am once again.
It's another day.
It's another day.
Today, we have Laura Johnson with You and Yours Distilling, founder and head distiller.
Hi.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because spirits is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's my absolute, especially gin.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. We're going to have some fun today.
Out there, you know, gin make you sin.
Oh, my goodness.
Sure does.
Don't be
So
shy.
I'm excited.
I love
am
it.
super excited.
Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to our official cheers, we're going to start with your well-known gin.
Sunday
to
gin.
Get us started.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I love that it's called Sunday.
Right.
Gin.
I mean, who doesn't love a G&T on a Sunday?
Right.
Sunday afternoon, yeah.
Right.
We'll pour a little bit of this up to get things going. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Yeah,
You can always pour a ghost shot just in case.
Okay.
The ghost in the room needs one too.
Okay. Can do.
You never know when the ghost might need a shot.
Pour
as
one
well.
out for the ghost.
Right.
Might as well keep your bases covered.
Yeah. For our dead homies, you know? Thank you.
Wouldn't want to offend anyone.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. She's poured.
Have a little right there.
All right.
For one, it's very fragrant. I can smell it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can really smell it.
Yes.
That is good. I
Yeah?
can tell that's good gin right
Oh, thank you.
there. I feel like I'm back in like the South in the 1950s. I done made it out of my tub. Yes, this is great.
Yeah, well, cheers. So this is our flagship Sunday gin. This is definitely an American style of gin, so it's not going to be super juniper forward. This is not your textbook London Dry by any means. It's going to be much more citrus forward, much more kind of delicate.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's just like wafting.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
I love this.
Definitely like a more feminine style, a little bit more reserved. Like I said, super citrusy up front. So lots of fresh grapefruit peel, a little bit of fresh Valencia orange peel, plenty of juniper there in the middle. So like second, third sip, it's not something that you're going to miss. It's just something that I use in this Sunday gin recipe. I like to say as more of like a connective tissue amongst all the other botanicals, as opposed to like that overarching like hit you in the head flavor note. And then a little bit of coriander just for some depth and complexity. Some fresh mint kind of then brightens everything back up, gives it a nice grassy top note. Yeah, a lot going on. And then you can take a sip, sorry.
No, we have to do our cheers.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Great episode in this wonderful spirit.
I'm getting ahead of myself already. Cheers.
Oh, God. Yes. It hit it just the way it needed to.
Oh, good.
That's great.
That is
Fresh,
great.
juicy, bright.
I did have a question, like when you're tasting spirits when it's not mixed. Like I
Yeah.
know with beer, you kind of like smell it and then you swirl it and trying to get like how you do the same thing with spirits, or is there a different type of way to taste a spirit?
Very similar. Yeah, great
Okay.
question. Very similar. The only difference is I wouldn't recommend like in a glass of wine, you can really get like your nose in there. I wouldn't recommend that with a spirit just because it is so much higher in alcohol.
Yes.
So you can kind of like, if you get too far in there, you can like there's a technical term for it, but like the little hairs on the inside of your nostrils can kind of like get burnt.
Singe.
Yeah, singe, exactly. Yeah. And then you can kind of throw off your palate, and so
okay.
that's not like really great. So I like to say like chemistry class, like give it a waft.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But definitely can give it a really nice swirl. And then I like to take a smaller sip and then kind of blow out. So, I mean, I hope you agree. I think Sunday gin is really smooth and doesn't have like a ton of bite to it. But if you were tasting something that was maybe a little bit higher in ABV or did have a little bit of a harsher bite to it, then kind of breathing out after you take that first sip really helps kind of counteract that.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I
something
learned
about...
that when I went to like a tequila tasting.
Yeah,
The guy
yeah.
told me the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I thought it was just with tequila, but I didn't know it was with all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you can apply to all spirits, anything higher in alcohol content, especially like whiskeys and things like that. And just kind of inviting like that oxygen, like getting the spirit in and then having that kind of the oxygen come out kind of lets like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but like fresh oxygen then come into your mouth. So like all of those kind of ingredient, like those botanicals pop and kind of everything is a little bit easier to pick up on. And also like this is a very kind of delicate, more reserved gin, but it's not super, super powerful, but it is layered. And so the more like if you take small sips and kind of keep going, like I'm happy to continue pouring it for as long as you would like. But
I mean,
yeah, oh my gosh,
the ghost
you know,
is
the
here.
ghost.
The ghost, yeah.
The ghost never
was
took.
for you, yeah. But it reveals different things, after additional sips, and especially if you do like to enjoy it on like a cube or something like that, or maybe just with a splash of sparkling water, it like reveals other just kind of keeps going.
It
Kind of makes you work for it. Like there's different things to be discovered as you kind of get into it. So the one that I missed was there's 6 ingredients, 6 botanicals, and my favorite one actually is dried rose hips. So that's like that kind of floral like sweetness on the finish. Yeah, so yeah.
Because when I did the inhale on it, definitely got the mint. I was like, wow, this is what makes it so refreshing and cooling.
Yes.
So I could feel that brightness to it, and
good.
this is
Fantastic.
This is perfect.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
This is the perfect gin.
We
For all you other gin makers out there, get your game up.
Take note. We affectionately refer to Sunday as our gateway gin. So definitely
That's
like
very good.
Yeah, if you're not like us here and already onto the gin side. If you're just kind of dipping your toe into the category, maybe you just you only can do Hendrix, something like that, then this is a really great entry point into the world of gin.
Yeah, this is.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, definitely is. Okay, so just to do a little break in the show, we always do a drinking game, and we try to do a word with it. So for this one, we're going to do style throughout this entire episode. Okay?
I don't know if we've said it yet.
I think I might have.
Did she?
Who
knows?
Gateway? No.
I think I said American style of gin.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Everyone has to take a drink.
So we'll all have to take a drink,
Yeah.
a sip of your drink.
Okay.
Because you have hardcore. We got some spirits here today, guys. I don't want you to see us at the end like this. So we just take like a tiny sip. But every time the word style comes up, then we'll take a sip.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's
Or
get
variation,
into it.
too, like styles. If they're. Right?
Oh, okay.
I guess those are the only 2 styles. and
Yeah,
style.
we can add the S
Okay.
on
Yeah.
there as
Okay.
well.
I
Yes.
thought you were
Wanted
saying
to
like the word variation as
Oh,
well.
no,
I was like,
no.
okay.
I just
2
meant
words, huh?
just wanted to like lay the ground, make sure
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
we're all
Oh, for
covered
sure.
on that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Well, I would like to know more about your background and how you came to get into distilling and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, to back all the way up, I guess. I'm originally from the Dallas, Texas area, so grew up in the suburbs, had very relaxed parents, so always encouraged to, try a sip of their glass of wine or, try their cocktail, see what they were enjoying. So definitely grew up with like a very, what I would consider like healthy, respectful relationship to alcohol. Wasn't something seen as taboo, rather something, that was like really worthy of appreciation. And it was, more of like an art, I suppose. And so I kind of had that mindset going into my drinking years, early
Which is a good
drinking years.
mindset.
Definitely.
So healthy.
I'm so grateful for that type of upbringing. And it just, it opened my eyes to, I think I had an interest and appreciation for wine and spirits from a much earlier than I think, is probably normal age. Like, I mean, we all start drinking earlier than 21, let's be honest, but I don't think we're all interested in what we're drinking earlier than 21.
More of the impact or the effects of
Exactly.
alcohol
Yes.
isn't the healthiest way
Yeah.
to approach
Precisely.
the
Yeah.
beverage. Yeah.
So, so then my parents are divorced. And so growing up, when I was in high school, the like most meaningful time that I would spend with my dad would be he would like let me tag along on business trips. So I would travel a bunch with him, and that was really fun. And I got to see so much like when I was still so young, and just randomly, like he was really into it kind of too. And so something that we would do together when we would have time together on these trips is visit distilleries.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. I remember being like 16, 17, going on distillery tours with my dad.
That's a good age.
Pretty wild. Yeah, it's a good age.
Yeah,
it's such a good age. Like barely passed high school chemistry, but loved the distillery tours. And so that was, I remember like very vividly the first time I went on a distillery tour with him, and just being like so fascinated, so enthralled, like could not believe that this was how spirits were made, and just had no idea. And so that was always kind of bug in my mind. Fast forward a little bit, I leave Texas to come out here to San Diego to do my undergrad. So I went to the University of San Diego and studied international business and economics, and again, had that interest in wine and spirits. I like to joke that I continued to hone my love of drinking throughout my college years, as one does. So again, like had an interest earlier than, pre-21. So as soon as I did turn 21, I started down the WSET education tract, like kind of thought maybe for a hot minute I might want to go down the SOM, path, and did that, got as much kind of wine education as I could, started working at a wine bar in college, and the like final module, I think it's like WSET level 2 or something, the final module is spirits, so kind of looking at all the different categories at a really kind of high level, and that kind of brought me back around to distilling, and I was like, oh yeah, like I really enjoy this, I really enjoy learning about this. So fast forward again, getting ready to graduate, didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, just knew I had an interest in wine and spirits. And so my then boyfriend, now husband and business partner, was like, you've always had a real interest in distilling. You should check that out. And, if not now, when, you've got nothing to lose, you just graduated, see if it's for you. So I literally walked across the stage, got my diploma, and the next day I was on a plane to go do like a week-long one-on-one intensive distilling course at a distillery up in Washington State. And it was kind of all over from there. I had no background in the industry of any kind. Like my parents were not in the industry of alcoholic beverages or even consumables at all. And I just loved it. I was just like a dog on a bone. And so basically after that course, that was kind of like my first foray into distilling, and it was a very interesting week. I'm sure you guys will be able to relate. It kind of got like a pat on the head, like, oh, cute, you want to be a distiller.
Familiar.
For sure. But ultimately, like, just kept asking questions and like would not take no for an answer, and just like really soaked up as much as I possibly could during that week. Came back to San Diego, and I just remember talking to Luke, my husband, now husband, on the phone, then boyfriend, being, kind of packing up and getting ready to come home, and just being like, yeah, these guys were kind of like D-bags, but I learned so much, and I am so hooked. And if these knuckleheads, I used much more colorful language, it can do this, I can absolutely like crush this. Like if they can like have this amount of regional market share and success, then I can. So was super invigorated, came back to San Diego, applied, kind of reached out to from then I wanted more experience, I wanted more knowledge and more I wanted to know more. I'd only had a week on a still, and that was it. That was all I knew. So spent the next, like the rest of that year after college graduation, just zigzagging my way across the States, like doing any sort of distilling education I could find, like masterclass, workshop, apprenticeship, like even just kind of like an intensive tour, like one of those all-day things where you get to shadow the distiller. Like,
so you really immersed yourself.
Oh, I went
immersed
in, like full self-immersion. Like there was no roadmap. There were no college programs at the time. There were no, I mean, unless you wanted to go to like Scotland or, there was just nothing like, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, there's a path for you. Yeah, you want to be a distiller, there's none.
You have to make your own.
You have to make your own and figure it out. And it was so weird and difficult. And I wanted to be a distiller. Like that was my end goal. And so I kind of did this period of like self-education, just immersing myself in the industry any way I could figure out to do. Any door that would, someone would open for me. And spent, 6-8 months doing that, came back to San Diego. And that's when I was super invigorated, super convicted. And I was like, okay, I'm going to reach out to every distillery I can find in California. And I'm going to apply for like an assistant distiller position or apprentice distiller position, like whatever, just like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And I think like 2 got back to me. And one of them was like, oh, you can work in the tasting room. We've got a place here, maybe you can move into production at some point. And one was like, oh, I see your background, your education. Like maybe we can find something for you in the marketing department. And I was like, no.
That's not what I want.
Yeah.
So do you think that because they were actually making it and you were trying to get onto this apprenticeship? Because usually we know that apprenticeships are like, oh, I'm now trying to do exactly what you're doing. So I need to kind of get that path. Why do you think that they kind of were pushing you off instead of letting you see like exactly what was going on?
I'm sure there was a certain level of just like underestimating me, like I definitely, like, I don't look like what you think of when you think of someone coming in to try to learn how to, distill or produce spirits. Like I'm not the norm for sure. And then I think also, so I graduated in 2014, so I would have been doing all of this like little outreach or whatever in 2015. And I mean, even today, like craft distilling is not akin to craft beer. Like they are not on the same level yet, anywhere near. And so I think a big part of it at the time, quite honestly, had to do with the fact that there weren't very many distilleries that were well enough established to even have an open position, let alone
like
be willing to
industry.
Totally. Exactly. Like, let alone be willing to take a chance on me for that position. And, and I really liked, I fell in love with San Diego as soon as I got out here. I really wanted to stay in California if I could. Was not ready to move back home to Texas. That's for sure. So
the weather.
Exactly. Let's see. So, kind of getting, not finding my desired path to becoming a distiller, basically. Had a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion, but not a lot of experience. And so at that point, I just kind of had to take a step back. And I come from very entrepreneurial blood. My parents both, have started businesses and started one together that actually my dad just sold recently. And so, my dad didn't even finish high school, was like, yeah, I'm out of here. And, started like importing tanning beds from Germany or something. Like he's just been, like an entrepreneur in like every fiber of his being since I can remember, since I was born. And so I just kind of had that in the back of my mind. Like I always kind of knew that I would like to do that too, maybe at some point, someday, have a business of my own. And so I took a step back and I was like, okay, well, what do I know how to do? I had already started writing the business plan for what would eventually become You and Yours in like my last semester of college at USD. And I felt like the connections that I had made by kind of zigzagging my way around and just networking in the industry, I felt like I had enough people to kind of go to for capital as well. So Luke and I, like, we just kind of, and he had the hospitality background at the time that I didn't. So he worked for Nobu Group for a number of years. He opened their location down in San Diego and worked for some other fine dining establishments in San Diego County. And I kind of then had the business side and the product side, and we were just like, fuck it, let's do this ourselves. Like,
we don't need anyone else. Let's do it together.
I was like, if no one's gonna open the door for me, then I'm gonna open for myself. And and so that's like the non-abridged version of how You and Yours came to be. So finished the business plan, pitched like 50 people, I think, for our capital raise, and had the money verbally committed, I think, in about a month.
Wow,
and
that's
we
impressive.
were off to the races. Yeah. I like to joke again that I blacked out for a couple of years, not from drinking, just from like putting your head down and just being like so blindly convicted on bringing this idea that I had to life. And so from that point, from being like, okay, what do I do, to then, okay, I'm going to make this happen. I think it was like 2.5, almost 3 years before we actually opened the doors at Y&Y in East Village.
And you just celebrated 5 years.
We did, yeah, we did this year. Thank you.
That is awesome.
That is. That's. I love that. I know that you said earlier about having that entrepreneur mindset that ran in the family. And you said that you could have done anything else. Why, in any kind of spirit, right? Why did you choose gin?
Yes. Yeah. Great follow-up question. So
you put it with any spirit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we are very, very gin focused. So I was thinking about the word, drinking word, trying not to say it. But
no, say it. Do it. I'm a little parched anyway.
Yeah, same.
Just go ahead and say it.
So as I was zigzagging my way across the country, going to all of these different distilling education things and visiting all of these distilleries, I was drinking a lot of gin. So it's very common for kind of smaller, younger, upstart craft distilleries, while they're waiting on their aged spirits to, come to maturity, they're going to pump something clear out so they can make money in the short term. And so I like to say that it's very easy to make a gin. It's very difficult to make a good one. And so I'm visiting all these distilleries, soaking up all this knowledge. I'm tasting all this gin. And what I am coming to realize is that it is not just one singular profile, but there is this wide ranging spectrum of different styles of gin.
There it is. There it is.
And so that's when I had this epiphany, and I got really into gin, and I just started to love to drink it, and I love to figure out all these different flavor notes, and this type of gin over here, and this this kind of flavor of gin over here.
Don't be shy of the word.
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah,
Don't be
so many
shy.
styles.
Well,
So many
mine's
styles.
empty, so I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Did the ghost take it?
The ghost.
Oh, I could have just traded with you.
Oh, that's okay.
All good.
Because I always got, two on deck.
Well, ghost and
You've got them on rotation.
On rotation.
So really getting introduced to this category of gin, and that really excited me. And I had this huge epiphany of why is no one creating a really thoughtful distilling concept around just gin? Why is it such an afterthought? Why are we just pumping these gins out just to make some cash while we wait on the whiskey? Why is it all about the whiskey here in the States? And so that was really exciting to me to put a concept together that no, we're not waiting on something in the back. We're not putting all of our eggs into these barreled baskets. We're creating something with a lot of thought and intention behind it that is going to be ready soon.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take a lot of time
is
to
there
make.
kind of I don't know, people think gin is for a certain, I don't know, older people, or is that I don't know, I'm just trying to think of why it, you said, everybody wants a whiskey or a bourbon or a tequila, why do people view gin differently in the spirit world, I guess?
It's definitely changing every day. I mean, gin is gaining in popularity and at a just insane rate right now. So, excuse me. You don't need to feel like you have to burp, but you can't. Sorry. We can cut that out, right?
Nope, we leave it in.
So I think gin is definitely gaining in popularity, but there is that stigma where it's your grandma or grandpa's spirit. And and we obviously had that huge resurgence of popularity when it came to dark liquor, bourbon and whiskey. And it kind of came together with the rise in popularity of speakeasy and prohibition style cocktails. And so I think it was just all about the whiskey here for a while, and everybody wanted to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
But it's changing. I mean, gin, if you go around to, any self-respecting, restaurant, cocktail bar, what have you these days, you have at least one, if not several gin cocktails on the menu.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's definitely changing for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So let's start trying out the vodka soda.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about this.
Yeah, you each have your own can in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we, you and yours were very gin focused, but we're also very
Tangerine.
The tangerine. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The orange ones. Thank you.
Here you are.
Very cocktail culture focused at you and yours. Our tasting room is a big part of who we are and what we do. And we put a lot of thought and effort into our in-house cocktail program there in the tasting room. And so it only made sense to try to capture that in a format, you know, for people who maybe can't make it to the tasting room or don't live in San Diego. And so that was like one piece of the puzzle. But then another piece was my husband is from New Zealand. And so, you know, down under RTDs have been something, you know, for a long time. Like they're nothing new to him. And so he always kind of had that in the back of his mind that he would like to do those or he would like for us to make some. And then the last piece of the puzzle with these bad boys is when we had first opened, Luke and I like to kind of blow off steam, just get out of the distillery. Like we would take, my grandpa had recently passed at the time, and he like till the day he died, he would take out like this little 20-foot Bayliner trophy, this little fishing boat, you know, out to Lake Texoma and you know, go fishing on the weekends. And when he passed, passed around to all my cousins, my brother, and they're like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, why is no one asking me? I'm over. Yeah, I might be in California, but like, why is no one offering me the boat?
Yeah.
And so Luke and I had it like arranged for it to get driven out here. We like anti-fouled the bottom. We put it in the bay. So we would like take it out. We all of a sudden had a boat. Like, holy crap, this is so fun.
Yeah.
And so we would take it out in the bay, and we'd have like a beautiful glass bottle of Sunday gin and a Ziploc bag of ice and really nice tonic and plastic cups. And we'd be trying to like make this G&T out on the water. We were like, fuck this. We need to can.
It needs to go in a can.
It needs to go in a can. Yeah. So that is like the truest reason why
man, I love that.
we started to get into canned cocktails. But we first launched the first 3 SKUs in the fall of 2018, and we've since extended that into 8 different canned cocktails, 8 different, you know, SKUs, RTDs, flavors, whatever you want to call them. And so this one is one of our top sellers, best sellers. This is our Tangerine vodka soda. So this is actually made with our Y&Y vodka. It's kind of our house vodka, and a little bit of tangerine. There's some notes of kumquat and clementine in here as well. So, you know, very approachable at first glance, but then once you actually take a sip, it's like so much more than just a tangerine vodka soda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the artwork is beautiful.
It is.
Thank you so much.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
So I wanted to read what was on the back. I was reading it as you was talking like a little. And I said, this is so clever and cute. So with the tangerine vodka soda, it says, this cocktail tastes like taking a breezy afternoon nap. Stop right there.
Just kidding.
Stop right there. As adults, especially older adults, you start to appreciate naps.
Sure do.
And you telling me that this drink can put me in a nappy type mood? And then afternoon nap in a very rustic, chic through
Trough.
Trough. That's what that is. Okay, glasses. Trough of the
that word?
juiciest. Just picked tangerines. Notes of juicy tangerine. What is that? Mandarin and clementine.
Mandarin and clementine.
Yep. Form the perfect pillow upon which to rest our 100% grape-based and distilled on-site Y&Y vodka. Almost as satisfying as peeling a tangerine in one continuous piece. It is satisfying.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and then it was like, just me? Okay.
Love
that.
appreciation for the copy. I love it. Thank you.
That. That's great. It's a little dangerous.
They are danger zone.
Because I don't taste any.
No, you don't taste any alcohol.
And they're 7.5%.
Oh,
They're 7.5%. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are danger
Kids,
zone.
please drink responsibly.
Yeah.
This one is going to put you in a danger. But the taste. It's
so
like
clean.
having like a soda water. It's
It's
just
super clean.
So
We
clean.
wanted them to be
Yeah.
like really spritzy and refreshing and not overly sweet, not cloying at all. We wanted you to be able to like drink one and then still want another. Like that's kind of my gripe with canned cocktails prior to developing our own was twofold. It was either A, you like can't taste the booze, which maybe you can't taste it.
We're like, you can't taste it in here.
Maybe you can't taste it in here, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
more in terms of like ABV. So maybe they were like 3.5%, 4.5%. It's like, what is that? I'll give that to my pregnant friend. Like, what even is that?
That's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's like nothing. So we wanted them to pack a good punch, like not hit you over the head, but we wanted you to be you, like feeling good and feel like you're getting your money's worth. And then the second thing was just we wanted them to be really well balanced. Like I feel like a lot of the canned cocktails I try, I take a sip, maybe it's okay, and then like second, third, and it's just like I can't finish the can. Like they're just way too sweet, and so I just wanted ours to be really spritzy and refreshing and easy drinking.
Yeah, because I've had others with some bigger names, right? And I was very disappointed in terms of their RTDs. But this one, guys, please get this. I love this one. Yeah, definitely love it.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
We want to invite you to listen to the Same Business, Different Day podcast, where we sit down with business owners, entrepreneurs, and great minds to talk about their stories and how they got to be as successful as they are today. If you're a business owner, this is the show for you. You get the tips and tricks from people just like yourself. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, this is the show for you. You get to hear from some of the best storytellers about their journeys. If you're an avid podcast listener, this is the show for you. We release every Tuesday morning on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to Same Business, Different Day. We make this show just for you.
San Diego beer lovers, come join us on the Pioneer Beer Trail, a free, narrated tour of 4 of Vista's iconic craft brewers, all from the convenience of your phone. Simply download the free show at vistamadetours.com or find Vista Made Tours on your favorite podcast provider like Spotify or iTunes. Then fire up the show and you'll hear fascinating backstories, beer favorites, and food recommendations from the brewers themselves as you travel from spot to spot. It's free, fun, and the easiest way to learn about some of Vista's originals, including Booze Brothers, Belching Beaver 980, Aztec, and 5 Suits. So come travel the Pioneer Beer Trail at vistamadetours.com or from wherever you find your podcasts.
Hello, friends. This is Joe Samo from the Samo Law Group. I am the host of Run It By My Lawyer. Over the years, I've had so many people that have had legal issues and legal questions and legal concerns. And I always have, over the more than 20 years, I've been telling people, before you sign anything, before you do anything, if you have a problem, just run it by my lawyer, right? Just run it by me. And now I have a podcast doing just that. You can call me, you can email me, any questions you have. I love hearing from people and answering legal questions. And on our podcast, we've talked about everything from free speech, gun rights, anything you want to discuss, employment rights, everything. So you have an issue, run it by my lawyer and watch this podcast. You'll be entertained and you'll learn the law. Love to see you. You can find me anywhere, okay? YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you want. And if you can't find me on some platform, let me know and I'll come find you. All right, thank you.
So let's talk about a little bit about the name.
Yeah.
How did you even come up with the name? And I love your shirt, by the way, because I know it's broadcasting.
Why am I? Yeah. I was like,
love that.
What do I wear? I wear it so often it's like fading. Yeah, so the name, You and Yours, so I can't take credit for it. We were like so far along in the business development process, like literally building out our distillery, building out the tasting room, and we had, all of the LLC and like company structuring documents under just like basically a dummy name, and I was just like, I can't even think about naming the company right now. I need to get it open, it was like so much pressure. It's like naming a child. I don't have one yet, but like I can imagine.
Just something simple.
San Diego Gin Distillery.
Right.
And so it was just way too much pressure, like with everything else we had going on, trying to finish the project. And so finally, we just kind of had to sit ourselves down, and it was Luke and I and a friend of ours, and we were just kind of shooting the shit. And I was just kind of articulating everything that I wanted the company to feel like and be about, and how like when you walked in, how I wanted you to feel when you walked out, and like I just wanted it to be really familial and friendly. And I never want to like take ourselves too seriously, like. At the end of the day, we're in the business of making people happy. Like that's all we're doing. And so I just wanted something like really approachable. And our friend, John, he just shouted out, he was like, what about You and Yours? And I was like, that's awful. No, like that's like so lame. And then I sat with it and then I like slept on it. And then I was like, oh shit, that's cute. Like that's good. That encapsulates everything. Like you and yours, for you and yours, by you and yours.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love that. Yeah, I love the when you said that it makes you happy, because then I quickly had a thought in my brain, like, when have I ever decided to drink alcohol and I was like, I'm sad?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm probably drinking because I'm sad that makes me happy.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I love that idea of, like you're saying,
Yeah.
I want people to be happy when they're like drinking our drinks.
And even
And
if
because
you,
of that refreshing feel that you have, that's definitely on the market to make people happy.
good. I'm so glad. Yeah, exactly.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just that like tie between product and the experience, and being able to give that like through the product, but then also through the physical location that you have and the way that the decor and just the experience that you want to give your guests. Very
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And explain your location a little bit.
Yeah. So I love that you say that. That's like the whole point of why we do what we do, and like what we want why and why to be. So my other kind of realization on this little self-exploration, and while I was realizing how many styles of gin there are.
Oh, there it is.
I'm gonna drink my cocktail on this one.
What I was also realizing is that this distilling, like craft distilleries, or these distilleries that you could visit. Well, first off, there are very few that you actually could visit, and then if you could, there was no real experience to speak of. Like maybe there was a very rudimentary tour of the production floor. And, you know, like very few had tasting rooms. If they did, it was like such an afterthought. It was just like reclaimed wood slapped on top of reclaimed wood off of reclaimed wood, you know, and just at a tasting table. And maybe you got like a, you know, a lukewarm pour of whatever they had open that day. And there was just no thought behind the experience. And I was like, how do we like create a concept that puts an equal amount of thought and effort, not only behind the quality of the product, but behind the quality of the experience as a whole, and like how it makes you feel. And so that's why we have this beautiful tasting room in downtown San Diego in East Village. And it's such a fun space. I just wanted it to be like the physical embodiment of like what is in the bottles and in the cans. And so it's very approachable, like very fun, and lots of texture, and feels very cozy. And it's a spot where I hope you come in and you think maybe you're going to have one drink and then go out to dinner. Maybe you're going to have one or two and like sit down and you know, and then pop over to someplace else. And then I hope you just end up staying the whole night, or, you know, the whole afternoon. Like, that's
enjoying.
Exactly. So,
And that's usually how it is, because when we think about, like, this podcast talks about a lot about community and community in adult beverages, basically. So if you're building that, if you have that type of atmosphere at that location, then that's what that is. It kind of allows people, because I'm that type of person that if I go to a place and I have plans to go to another one, if this place is vibing, I'm staying.
You're not going
I'm
anywhere.
not leaving.
Why?
Now I'm telling the people that I was supposed to meet at the other place, you have to meet me and you and yours.
Come here. Yeah, the
You have to meet
vibes
me and
are
you and yours.
immaculate, and I'm not
Exactly.
leaving them.
I'm not leaving at this point.
100%.
Yeah, so
Amen to
that's
that.
great that you even thought that far to go, you know, I either want people, even if they thought about leaving, we're going to make it such a vibe here that they want to stay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly,
that is great. I
Yeah.
love that in
Yeah.
terms of like having that that community aspect, and you guys just bringing everyone, just kind of gathering them, you know, to have that and to enjoy at the distillery.
Exactly. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Yeah. Bring people together.
Yeah. So how do you create that? How have you been thinking in terms of creating that through like the community, through the beverage?
It's a good question. That's, you know, that's the hardest piece of creating a brand, is how do you create that community, and how do you have that community transcend all of these different facets of where your business lies? Like, how do you bring maybe like an online community? Like, how do you bring an Instagram following into a store, into
location,
a tasting room, into a restaurant that has you on the menu? Like, how do you, you know, find these people who really champion your product and are willing to, you know, like find you in all these different formats? And so I don't have a great answer for you. You know, I mean, we have a wonderful PR team. We you know, really do our best to be super authentic and fun over social. And we have just such a great group of regulars at the tasting room too. Like every night there's a little bar log email that gets sent out with like, you know, the day's sales and what went right, what went wrong, any fun special guest moments. And like, like every single night. It's like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so are here again. Like they just moved. They hate that they live far away from this place, but they're so happy to be back and taste the new menu. Oh, so-and-so is here with her new boyfriend this weekend. Like it's so cool to like read those stories and hear that people are coming back and, oh my gosh, this is your best menu yet. Like it's what it's all about. It's what it's all about.
I know growing up, when I always thought about like drinking and community, I always wanted to be that person that had that spot that I just go to, like frequent that spot. Because I was like, I would go, especially when I was like traveling, I would go to different bars, and as soon as that person came in, that was the regular, everybody knew them. They speaking to everyone from the front door all the way to the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, I want to have that type of like community where every time I go somewhere, that they're like, oh, Natasha's here. All right, let me get my good stuff. I want you to try this or whatever.
Absolutely.
Because building that community, especially through that, it allows, especially regulars, people underestimate regulars sometimes, not only in just bringing you the money, because they're going to keep the place open. They're going to single-handedly keep you open.
Absolutely.
At the same time, people have to also understand that regulars are the ones who are so passionate about your business a little bit more than you, right?
Yeah.
But they're telling everyone.
They're your champions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where that community continues to grow. Because remember, we're always 6 degrees from someone. So if you think about, you have like 5 regulars, they're telling, that's like 30 people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're telling someone else and someone else. And so, all of that just keeps going.
Yeah.
And I love that idea in terms of you building the distillery to look that way, to say, okay, this is how it's going to look. Because when I tasted that gin, I felt like that was something, for one, the name Sunday on it, period, immediately took me there.
Exactly.
Like I felt that in my spirit, like, Sunday, the girls, like it's so bright.
Yes.
We can literally have that with like a cube in it,
Exactly.
and just chilling and just talking.
Exactly.
So yeah, I love that. You probably didn't think at the moment when I asked the question about like how building that community through the beverage, that's what it is.
It's hard for me to articulate because it's not something that
It's just a bunch of girls at the table.
Exactly.
It's a lot of feeling and the fuzzy.
It's seeing like a group of girls who are in town from Austin, Dallas, where I'm from, like Nashville, and they're here for a bachelorette. And the first thing they've done when they have touched down, checked into their hotel or Airbnb and gotten ready, they're going to Y&Y for a cocktail class.
Yes.
Like that is just so, I mean, what an honor that you're spending time with us and you're celebrating with us. Like that is what it's all about. I used to say before we had the tasting room open, when I was talking to, a friend of ours that helped with the interior design, like I was like, okay, I want this place to be somewhere where like you come and like you make out for the first time. Like I want it to be a place where like
memories made here.
Oh my God. Like
Absolutely love that.
I want like babies made after you drink Sunday gin. Like I want this to feel so warm and like so a part of your life. And I think the reason I don't have a good answer for you is because, my mind is on the 50 million other things that go wrong every day, or that keep, that you have to do to keep a business afloat and running. But, it's just about like being super authentic in everything we do and making what we like to drink. And again, not taking ourselves too seriously ever, and remembering that at the end of the day, we're just trying to make people happy and feel good and maybe teach them a little bit about gin.
Yeah.
But the community is like why we do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into this last one.
Yeah.
This gin and tonic.
This G&T. This is another one of our best sellers. This is the Blood Orange Gin and Tonic. And this is actually going to be made with another style of gin that we make. This is going to be made with our London Dry. So this is a different style of gin that I don't have for you guys here today, but this is my take on a London Dry. So not quite textbook either by any means, but it's going to be much closer to that kind of, more juniper forward end of the spectrum. Bigger, bolder, spicier Pioneer.
Definitely spicier.
It's higher in ABV as well. And then this one is coupled with a little bit of kind of lightly blood orange scented tonic water.
And for those of you out there who are watching and wait like me, it's naturally low in sugar and gluten free.
Definitely. They're super. Yeah. I think again, we have 8 SKUs, and They're all super naturally low in sugar. We just use all organic cane sugar, so nothing weird. And then I think the highest sugar content is our mule. And so just because that has like those, kind of bigger, bolder, like ginger and lime flavors, it needs a touch more sugar to kind of punch through. Yeah. But it's still only something like, I think maybe less than 5 grams per the entire can. So we wanted them to be super well balanced.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was telling you earlier that I drink a lot of those mules at the Loma Club.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to like get into for listeners just about the experience there that you guys have created. And I think it really, from the tasting room to what you guys are now doing with the Loma Club, with the mini golf and just the cocktails and all of that and the outdoor patio and just what was that experience like getting involved with the Loma Club and that vision and I guess for some people probably don't know what the Loma Club is.
Yeah, yeah. Such a crazy ride, such a blessing in disguise. The Loma Club is a super cool, historic 9-hole par 3 golf course and clubhouse located in Liberty Station in Point Loma of San Diego. And it has been there for over 100 years. It was originally built, I think it was commissioned in like 1912, maybe finished in 1914 or something like that. Definitely finished in 1914, but originally built by the commanding officer of the Naval Training Center at the time. So Liberty Station, for those of you who don't know, is a decommissioned naval training center, naval base. And so literally the golf course property butts up to its right adjacent to the homes and the properties, the acreage that like the former officers lived, called the officers' quarters. And so like if you were, a recruit and you went out to San Diego to do basic training, you joined the Navy, every day you had like these certain physical fitness or education credits you had to fulfill. Like you had to do some sort of like fitness or whatever workout every day. And one of your options was to go play golf, which is nuts, which is like so cool to me. And so
it's a workout.
It's a workout. It sure is. Yeah, it's hilly. Yeah, you got to swing real hard. But it's so cool. And the way that we came to be the proprietors of this place, I just pinched myself, my husband and I, basically in the summer of 2019, we went to Europe for a couple of weeks, and we bookended the trip with a few nights on either side in London. So that's where my husband's cousin lived at the time, his best friend, Ollie. They're both from New Zealand. And so Ollie lived in London, and his business and his father's business, so kind of like the family business on their side, was building mini golf, building putt-putt courses.
Oh my gosh.
Ollie's dad, Luke's uncle, builds them all over New Zealand, and then Ollie builds them all over the UK. And
wow.
He was, we were doing something fun. He took us to this really cool one that was super posh and upscale and had amazing craft cocktails. And it was indoors, and there were no clowns, there were no windmills, no dinosaurs. It was just like
fake volcanoes.
Yeah, no fake volcanoes. It was just like really light Scandinavian wood, like with this roundabout hole. Like it was just a really cool vibe. And he had, booked our tea time, our mini golf tea time, weeks before we even came into town. Like if you wanted to do your birthday party at this place, you had to book it like, months in advance for freaking mini golf, you guys.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we saw that, thought it was so cool, came back to San Diego, we're like, we have to do something like this, with our style of cocktails that we do at Y&Y, coupled with like upscale fun mini golf for not only kids and families, but also for like first dates and, students so we were just shooting the shit with our friend who's also our architect, and we were like, where should we do this? Like, where can we put this in San Diego? Where would work? Should we do outside, inside, whatever? And he was like, oh, you guys got to come talk to the Liberty Station people. And lo and behold, they were looking for, I guess some new operators for the Loma Club. And at first we were like, absolutely not. We've never ran a golf course in our lives. Why do you think we're going to do this? And at the end of the day, why not? Why not? Exactly. But, there's so much about the Loma Club that is exactly what we love about you and yours. It's about creating an experience. It's about making people happy. It's about upgrading and elevating the food, the drinks, the vibe, the, aesthetic. And so Luke and I, at the end of the day, we just love hospitality. We love creating spaces and experiences. And we're like, let's can do this. And so it's been such a blessing in disguise. We took over January of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Which was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love Aloma Club, and it's so cool. Totally separate business from Y&Y. They have no connection other than, we both run them both. But that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a fantastic job there.
Thank
It
you.
is so
Thank
fun.
you. Thank you.
Really, really fun.
Yeah.
Definitely that experiential, I guess experience. Like you leave there so like people just love it. And when I was there, I saw like the families come in with their toddlers to go play mini golf, and the first date, and so you see all of that happening in that space, and that's a really unique thing to have those different stages of life, like all being in one area, and that's what a community is made out of, is all of that. And so to be able to do that and do that well is fantastic. So
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoyed
That's
it.
a lot of pressure too, because think about it. You got to keep this open for years and years to come. Because if you're creating first dates, I need to come back in 20 years.
100%. Absolutely. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, and especially in the beginning, because there are so many like built-in regulars that have been going to that place. And I mean, they did not mince any words when we took that place over. They were like, you're not going to change it, are you? You're not going to this is where my grandfather taught me to play golf on this course. Like I've been coming here for years and years, and we're just like, oh God, no, we're going to keep all the good things about it and just maybe like change a couple things, So it was interesting to we wanted to keep everything that was so special about the Aloma Club, and we definitely didn't want to alienate anyone or make them feel like it wasn't their spot. But there was just so much room for improvement. There was so many little things like low-hanging fruit that we could do to just enhance the experience for everyone, but also get a whole new crop of people through there. People, even if they don't play golf, even if they never played golf a day in their life, they come for live music.
Mini golf.
Mini golf. I mean,
but you know what?
Just come and drink. Whatever you want to do. It's been so cool to see that place.
But also, people have to also be acceptable of change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes people need to understand that change is a good thing. And like you said, if it needed a lot of upgrades, I'm sure, sir, when your grandfather was teaching you, this is brand new.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. I don't think when you came in for your first lesson that things were being held up by duct tape inside.
Exactly.
Okay?
So I think that sometimes we can still give people that same nostalgia that they had, but giving them that upgrade and telling them that times are changing, that things are now, I don't have to go out and literally pick the balls up. I got a whole thing that does this now. So it's a lot of those type of things. And I think when people come into that, and this is with any type of business, that you're taking a location that once was there for a very, very long time. Anytime that you can decide that, okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to improve this and I'm going to make it to where it's with what is happening within me to be able to make it to do that. We can't let the pressure of other people resistant to change.
Amen. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you made this a beautiful space now.
Yeah, exactly.
And for him he didn't even know what you were going to do.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
None of them knew what you were going to do.
No.
So they immediately, automatically thought, younger girl coming in here.
100%.
Because it doesn't matter. You could be 40. And he still would have been like, this young girl came in here.
Yeah.
And she's about to change my whole, And sometimes we have to understand that change is always good. It's always good. I'm going to bring other people in here to enjoy this just as much as you did.
Absolutely.
No one's enjoying it that way anymore.
Yeah.
We need to upgrade just a little bit. So I applaud you for pushing past that, because that sometimes can allow people to stop.
It's tough because you just get met with that resistance before you've even had a chance to showcase what you can do. And
it's like starting a new job.
Yeah.
They see you come in here, you come with your fresh ideas.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm
pretty sure that's why I was brought in here.
You guys like cranking this paper out? There's a whole copy machine they make now.
Yeah.
What is this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and it was the little things, it was just streamlining the menu and just now, instead of just having oh my God. Okay, so this is a perfect example. So when we took over, the same person was ringing you up for your tea time, booking your tea time, taking your money, pouring your beer, and flipping your burger. like they were doing that in one little, sorry, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Like in this one little triangle behind the bar. And I'm like, who wants that? I don't want the same person like pouring my pint and like handling my cash to also be like assembling my fries. It was just like so, and oh my gosh, that person was like expected to clean the bathrooms too. Like, and so we were like, okay, we need to separate everything out. We need to, you know, create different zones of like, you can order drinks here and then food here. And then
that's why he liked it.
I know.
He liked it a little germ on his on his burger.
And so it was
Don't you dare change that burger handling. I need it from the bathroom back to the burgers, you know.
And we went around and we kept all the original staff on. Everybody who was there had the opportunity to stay on. And we went and we interviewed all of them. And we're like, do you like cooking? Like, or did you take this job because you like to cook? Or did you take this job because you like golf? Or why are you here? Why are you here? And so now that it's separate, we have like a bar team. We obviously have the kitchen crew. We've got our starters, you know, who keep pace of play on the course and check you in for golf. And not only does it just run so much smoother now, but like we've like 4x'd sales. I mean, it's just such a cool. Yeah, and we built an entirely new bar. It just feels classier in there. It's still super casual. You can play in flip-flops. You can bring your dog. You can, you know, it's such a cool spot there. But there were certain things where, like, if I want to be here, I need things to, like, if I want to spend my whole day and I want to bring my family, like there's a few things that I want to kind of level up. So, but it's such a cool business. Yeah. We feel so fortunate that like we get to be the keepers of that place. It's nuts.
Yeah. That's definitely great.
Fun.
Yeah.
So what is coming up for you and yours?
For you and yours, we've got some really fun things coming out of the production floor. So our first ever modifier. So we've like mentioned that we're, you know, very focused on like cocktail culture when it comes to everything that we make. And so we've got a coffee liqueur coming this fall, which is really exciting. We've been working on that for a while now, like over a year. And so definitely something different for us, but I think really kind of like fits in well at the same time. And then also on the RTD side with the coffee liqueur, we've got 3 new cold brew coffee canned cocktails.
Gosh.
So
amazing.
very fun, boozy, caffeinated.
Sounds like my Saturday.
All the
Exactly. Perfect for brunch, for tailgates, for
See, I've been going to Starbucks with the nitro and just sip some in there real quick.
Just
to make my morning interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be taking a nap or I'm going to be on fire. Who knows?
It's Saturday.
Who knows?
You'll end up where you end up. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. I love that.
We're bringing a whole new
meaning
to putting Baileys in your coffee. That's for sure. Yeah, I love it. So excited about those for sure. Can't wait for everyone to taste them.
Yeah.
That's definitely very good. Yeah.
And I want to touch real quickly on the scholarship that you started for women in the distilling industry.
Yeah. It kind of not fell off the rails, but we had originally intended to offer the scholarship at least once a year. And so I think we did our first one in 2020, I believe. And so this was something that I had been really itching to do for a long time, but just, running a small business is hard. And especially in the liquor world when you don't have like buku bucks behind you. And so, 2020 was oddly enough a really great year for Y&Y. Our canned cocktails took off. We brought on...
everyone was at home.
Oh, exactly.
Home drinking.
Everyone was at home drinking. Yeah.
We like weirdly brought on like 3 new states, 3 new markets that year. We got, I think 2 or 3 major retailers that year as well. And so 2020 was just a great year for us. And I finally felt like we were in a position to do this. And so I was talking about my education and traveling all over. And one of the best courses, or actually without a doubt, the best distilling education that I did on that journey was at, has a terrible name, but it's amazing, I promise. It's called Moonshine University.
That is an awesome name. What you mean terrible name?
It's not a terrible
How
name.
How dare you disrespect them like that?
No shade at all. No shade at all.
That is an awesome name. How do I sign sign up for moonshine.
Seriously. Located in, go figure, Louisville, Kentucky. And they are just so wonderful. They have so many incredible education courses, and I've done several of their courses and workshops, and it was without a doubt the most impactful education I had during that time, and I'm just so grateful to them and the education that they continue to provide people looking to get into the industry. And so 2021, unfortunately, was a very tough year for several reasons. So we didn't do it that last year. I'm like, what even year are we in now? But we're looking forward to opening it back up again later this year. And so what we've done is create a scholarship for aspiring female distillers. So we open it up, we have applicants, and then we choose one to send to the 6-day Master Distillers course at Moonshine. So that's their most popular course. It's like 6 full days of distilling education, just teaches you everything about what it takes to start your own distillery. And so it's really rad and just so impactful. And so I'm excited to continue sending some aspiring distillers there.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you decided to do better than be bitter. You know what I mean? Because I had wrote that down. I was like, what is your guide for others to creating that path?
Totally.
Because like you said, there was no path.
Yep. No, there was no path.
So you're like, oh, matter of fact, not only am I going to show you the way, I'm also going to provide you the way.
100%. Yeah. That's
fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was for me. Is because we touched on it, but there was no path. I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. I would show up to the San Diego Distillery Guild meetings and just introduce myself and reintroduce myself and reintroduce myself every time. Until somebody was like, oh, you want to come hang out on the still this weekend? We're running this, and finally someone would let me in, and there's just no path, and so I really wanted to be that leg up for someone in the way that I wish someone would have been there for me. And so I just if I can do anything to help another aspiring female distiller to get to where she wants to go, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I loved your conversation with this. I am so proud of you guys for this.
Thank you so much.
It's definitely the cutest distillery that I've ever heard. Or it's just even the bottle, all of this is you guys did such a great job.
Thank
you. A lot
you.
of thought. I can hear the thought. And passion. And the passion into it. Just keep going. We're rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
I'm always going to be there to get another bottle of gin.
Yes.
I'm going to bring others now that I know that this is a gateway gin. Because I hear other people talking shit about gin. And I'm like, no, you're not. We're going to you and yours.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming in today and bringing us and all these great
these
tastings
wonderful.
that you gave us.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. Anytime somebody in your life needs a gentervention, we're the spot.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. So tell everyone where they can find you on any socials.
Yeah, absolutely. So at You and Yours, YOUANDYOURS. And then I'm just at my full name. So Laura K. Johnson. LauraKayJohnson, kind of a long one. YouandYours.com. The tasting room's open Wednesday through Sunday in East Village, San Diego. And what else? And you can find the products at a bunch of retailers all throughout California: Whole Foods, Vons, Albertsons, some regional chains like Lazy Acres, Bristol Farms, a whole lot more that I'm spacing on right now. Sorry. And then also in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, what else? Mississippi, Alabama, and soon to be
hit the South.
Of course. Soon to be Georgia, and I think I'm missing Maine, maybe, and a few more to come. So keep checking in. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and your products and just your passion.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a treat.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And one more time, I was going to say style.
just so we can get
cheers.
Yeah,
final cheers and get it in.
Cheers.
Yeah. And why limit happy to an hour? Thanks for listening and watching Odd Pairing. So please subscribe, like, rate,
and comment with your favorite drinking stories and curiosities about adult beverages.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm going to happy hour. Who's driving?